Video games are supposed to be a fantasy, a place to unwind and enjoy a beautiful blend of atmosphere, music, and storytelling, and all that melds together into a little something I call fun, or in other words, having a damn good time. There's one video game character who a lot of us love, and for good reason. He's the perfect blend of gameplay exemplified by emotional storytelling that shows the myriad of human problems, with badass music to support it. Who is he? You know him, I know him, even your favorite liquor store owner knows him. But he's just a guy who doesn't like to go by cute nicknames. A guy willing to give up his own personal self, just so he can feel safe knowing he's looking out for everyone he cares about. A guy that can kick the shit out of the meanest guys, and still have room in his heart to give them a healthy speech. A guy, for all the awesome things he does, he still has themes tied to him, such as loser and fading away, being a core part of his battles in life. That guy is Kiryu Kazuma, a kind soul in the legacy of video game characters who can be deceptively complex once you get to know him, much like ourselves. Join me today as we take a look at Kiryu's legacy as the final boss we play as, and just make sure you grab your boss coffee as you sit back and relax. Oh yeah, it's gonna be spoilers for pretty much everything, so you've been warned. I see Kiryu as a playable final boss because he exuberates the perfect video game power fantasy as much as he does carrying this incredible aura. The dragon on his back isn't just for show. It means he carries as many scars as he does wisdom. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to take a look at 4 of my favorite boss fights in the series, and why Kiryu was truly the actual final boss in this sense. Just bear with me, as in life it's often the noble heroes posing a threat to the antagonists, and of course it still applies the other way around. Of course, this could be complex since for the entirety of our existence we've told stories, and everyone can have different takeaways of stories as they're told and retold, but bear with me here. Kiryu's been in 10 mainline games, counting Gaiden and Zero, alongside the other main 8 games. So there's plenty of final fights I could talk about, and I've talked about some already in the past of my other videos. The 4 I'll be discussing today are Aizawa, Mine, Nishiki, and Shishido. There's no doubt these guys pose serious threats to Kiryu as much as he did in standing in their way, but what I find most fascinating of Kiryu is how he's able to stand in their way so significantly that it almost dismantles the villain's entire worldviews. Look at the way Kiryu doesn't let the mind games of Mine or Shishido affect him. It's amazing. You simply can't defeat the dragon mentally, and not because he's some invincible godly being, but rather he knows most of these villains are simply other guys hurting. He senses that these guys are lashing out because they're hurt, and when Kiryu's confronting them for the final time, that is when they're cornered. Shishido was a cornered lion, desperately wanting to cling on to his otherworld kingdom. And likewise, Nishiki was a koi facing down the boogeyman who's haunted him for 10 years. Aizawa was another fractured koi who tried to grab onto his dream with what he saw as making an image for himself. And likewise, Mine was a soaring Kirin who thought glory came from reaching the top of the Yakuza, but only saw how lonely the top was. These 4 guys have quite a bit in common when you look at them in a vacuum, and all 4 of them had Kiryu standing in their way. Nishiki saw the guy who had everything he wanted, despite all the ambitious changes Nishiki made to himself. Mine saw the guy who was the polar opposite of everything he believed in, and he couldn't understand him. Aizawa saw the guy who apparently was so legendary that he was an entire mountain, blocking his dreams to swim upriver. Shishido saw a guy willing to throw away the entire lifestyle that kept Shishido alive in the first place, as much as it did violate his own life. Now, none of these are to say Kiryu was this unimaginable being taking away what these antagonists wanted on purpose. Rather, on the other hand, these antagonists got so wrapped up in their beliefs that they saw Kiryu as a personification of what they can't have. Nishiki wanted the girl, the legacy, and the respect. Mine wanted to not feel alone anymore, despite having a similar background as an orphan. Aizawa wanted to golden ticket his way to the same admiration and power these legends had. Shishido wanted to hold on to his lifestyle without having the strength to throw it away and start anew. By the end of it, Nishiki and Mine were able to reach some form of reconciliation and respect after their final showdowns of Kiryu, but fate caught up to them as it was too late. When looking at Aizawa, he got torn out of the Tojo clan HQ and forced to start over the way all of us have to. Shishido may not have been able to save the Yakuza life he dreamed of, but instead he got dragged deeper into the hellish underworld by unwillingly becoming a Daidoji agent. It's fascinating how Kiryu can face so many parallels to him in terms of morality, character, and dreams. As I said in the beginning, Kiryu's deceptively complex, like ourselves. We've got faces we put on when we're around different groups, and sometimes that can be to our own detriment. Things we only share with those we see as close to ourselves. With Kiryu, he's mostly the same guy everywhere he is. That's the amazingly simple part of him that can be amazingly complex. However, there's a lot going on underneath the dragon, that being his spirit. Kiryu spent about 14 total years behind bars, including the events of 1 and the Song of Life, with most of those years being wasted since he wasn't there for those he cares about. During those jail years, he wasn't there for Nishiki, Kazama, Yumi, Haruka, and so many others that there's no doubt those missing years and the resulting consequences wear down on him. Kiryu may barely mention it, yet you can tell he's contemplating that pain in quiet moments. Here's some examples. The man who erased his name has scenes like the gut-punching tablet scene in the end. The Song of Life has the Skytram scene, where he thinks about his adventures with Haruka. And the original Yakuza has that scene in the car with Date, where he regrets running away to take the fall for Nishiki. To summarize, Kiryu's the kind of guy to keep it all in, as he knows there's people that need protecting. And that's his greatest fault as much as it is a great strength. It's a bit of a curse for the lone samurai, and it's shown in the form of the dragon on his back. Remember, Kiryu only wanted to be a Yakuza growing up. He never wanted to be a dragon willingly. For it was the day he met Uraburi where his fate as a dragon was sealed. The dragon has always been a part of Kiryu's spirit, mind you, as a strong-willed character with a heart of gold. Fans adore him because he's also goofy and likes to do dumb shit in his free time. He's relatable. Kiryu manages to be the perfect video game power fantasy, with a versatile arsenal of moves like the Tiger Drop, Wink Wink, Double Finisher, and so many more. No matter which game he's in, there's always a sense of freedom to try new moves of each level, or try to build your own quote-unquote Kiryu build by, say, filling his inventory with coffee and golf clubs. With all this in mind, you, the player, are able to confront guys like Mine and Aizawa by being the final boss yourself. Kiryu can make anything a weapon, and you can even make him ridiculously strong depending on the gear you use. In some games you can make Kiryu invulnerable to bullets, or have so much heat that you can just keep your opponent in constant heat action animations. It's up to you. The world is your oyster, huh? The possibilities are pretty much limitless, and that pure fun, unadulterated video gamey feel on top of badass music like Receive You, and amazing story cutscenes create this atmosphere of ultimate manliness. Manliness that isn't afraid to get goofy and serious. It's earnest. The kind of manliness where you can be the final boss, and still have enough room in your heart to give out a helping hand. If one thing is for certain, Kiryu has never gloated over his final opponents after he fights or tried to make the world a worse place. He never has. Instead, he tries to be strong enough to be gentle when it's needed. And with all these ideas in mind, that is why I believe Kiryu Kazuma is the ultimate final boss. Thank you all so much for watching. I mean it. I hope you enjoyed, and whatever your takeaways are from this video, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Any feedback is appreciated, especially sharing this video around. You see, I've got a whole playlist of Like a Dragon videos I think you'll find interesting. I've got over 25 videos at this point. Until next time, have yourself a stamina spark, and stay tuned for more. Tiger Drop Films out.